I promise it's not what you think. Hey guys, CrossFit Cyclist. Today we are going to be going over what it's been like to use this bad boy as one of the implements in my garage gym. So you guys have probably seen ads for these on Instagram or Google, and this is the Burden Kettlebell. Today we're going to be going over some of the pros and cons of this kettlebell and how it's really become a pretty big staple in my garage gym. So the Burden Kettlebell is made by Origin USA. If you're not familiar with them, they're a company in Maine that Jocko Willink is either a partner or I believe owner, co-owner of. And everything is manufactured by, American craftsmen, right? So, this was a handmade kettlebell. Obviously, it is not made of cast iron like most kettlebells are. It's made of leather. And when you get it, it's just an empty sack. So you got to fill it up with whatever weight that you feel is appropriate. For mine, I filled this guy up with lead shot. Just like any sort of gym equipment, lead shot was actually very difficult to find right now. But I ended up getting a hold of a few bags of lead shot and encapsulated the lead shot within a plastic bag, taped it all shut, and then just stitched it shut with the supplied nylon lacing that they give you here. I've had a chance to use this in my garage gym now for a little over a month, and I just wanted to share with you guys what I think about it. So why a leather kettlebell? Well, in the times that we live in, obviously there are massive ramifications for the global supply chain, and one of those is that gym equipment is incredibly difficult to come by, especially anything that's kind of free weight, right? So, Jocko Willink and the people at Origin USA came up with a great idea, which is we're going to manufacture a kettlebell. Obviously, a kettlebell is a piece of equipment that you can use for entire workouts, and it's a very effective piece of equipment to just have in your gym in general. And they designed this so that there was not only a good made in America option, so that the global supply chain wasn't a factor, but also making something that, is going to last a long time and that can suit a really wide range of people. So obviously filling this up with your own weight means that, this kettlebell can weigh 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds, or where I have mine at right now with lead shot encapsulated in a plastic bag is right about 46, 47 pounds, which is about perfect for me. So some of the things that I really, really like and appreciate about the Burden kettlebell. Well, the first one goes right back to that supply chain stuff. So they have it in a huge red banner on their website, 3 to 5 business day order fulfillment. And that was not a joke. I think mine actually got processed in 2 days. These are all made to order in the United States. Obviously, that's a huge driver for me in knowing that this isn't something that is going to be manufactured abroad. Going to run into production delays with everything going on with COVID-19. So this actually got to me very, very quickly. So I live in Wyoming. I believe the order was fulfilled in like 48 to 72 hours and being shipped right off to me. Only took a few days to get here, open the box, and obviously arrived exactly the way I expected. One of the other big drivers for me was just the philosophy that Origin USA takes. I, as an athlete, always want to make sure that I'm doing business and using products that I stand behind. And this is definitely one of them. The company is based around some pretty awesome philosophies, and this kettlebell was developed in a really short time span from my understanding of the story to fulfill the needs of what we have going on right now, which is, people want to work out, and the only place that they can safely work out is at home. Origin is really built on the principles of one, things that are made here in the USA don't necessarily have to be exorbitantly expensive, and not be able to compete with products that might be manufactured somewhere else. So this was $74. I don't think shipping was a whole lot more on top of that. And it's an incredibly high quality product. You can absolutely tell that this is something somebody spent time and energy on. And the leather is extremely high quality. I've been using it for well over a month and do not treat this thing nicely. It gets dropped, it gets tossed, and generally I'm just sweating and gripping it and tossing it around. And it's stood up and been absolutely flawless. The other thing that I really like about this is the variable weight. Now you guys can see kind of how I have this fastened down here. Probably not going to be, undoing that anytime soon to adjust the weight. But one of the things that was really nice was, I could set this to a comfortable weight for myself. Although I did want something that was kind of the RX weight, the prescribed weight for men doing CrossFit. I knew that for me, there are absolutely workouts that I need to scale to make sure I'm able to complete them, or at least to make sure that I'm able to, do them in a reasonable amount of time. And so this guy sits at 46 pounds right now. I can absolutely get this up to 1 pood if I need to. The lead shot has really gotten this to expand nicely and settled down in there. So if I wanted to add more, I could. But as far as the retention and the quality of it, I'm extremely happy with this kettlebell. So I think some of the things that are pros for me might be cons for some of you guys out there though. So one of those things is that this is absolutely not for everyone. So, I have spent a lot of my time, especially the last 6 months, using sandbags, right? For a lot of my home exercise, my CrossFit, and my cycling training. And so, getting a kind of unorthodox kettlebell like this was no big deal for me. But if you are a competitive, person who's going to be doing the CrossFit Open, you're going to want to be doing, Reebok CrossFit Games, that kind of stuff. you're going to be at a disadvantage using something like this compared to just a regular cast iron kettlebell. And the reason for that is this handle. So this handle is great. It's very, very well made. It definitely gets a beautiful patina on it from use. But there's two things that I noticed about this handle that are going to hold anyone who is very, very serious about their workouts back. So the first one is the actual size of this opening here. So for me, I don't think I have particularly oversized hands, but for me, it's even difficult if I need to use two hands on this kettlebell to get both hands across this wooden dowel that they've kind of put into the top of the kettlebell. The other thing is that this is obviously not a rigid kettlebell. So when you have a cast iron kettlebell, you're going to be able to do much more dynamic movements much more easily than you are with this. So I know a lot of people have noted in their reviews that when you're doing dynamic movements, for example, if you're swinging this thing overhead, if you're swapping arms with it, that kind of stuff, they notice that some of their lead shot or whatever weight that they're using can escape through the edges of this. I have not had that problem because, again, I encapsulated my lead shot in a plastic bag. But getting this kettlebell to, a full overhead swing, doing some more dynamic movements with it, certainly is not as easy because you just don't have that rigid handle like a traditional kettlebell. So one of my main concerns when I got this was, how am I going to fill this up? So I knew from the get-go I wanted something as dense as possible. I looked at a few different options. Origin recommends that you use pennies to fill this up, but wouldn't you know it, there's a coin shortage when I received this product. So my next best alternative was lead shot. So that's something that you can purchase from a sporting goods store that sells reloading supplies. It's just used to reload shotgun shells. That even I had a tough time finding. Apparently people are stocking up pretty dramatically on reloading supplies right now as well. But when I finally was able to track it down, it was a fairly easy process. And just to put it in perspective, I'll show you the process that I used here to fill this kettlebell up. But using lead shot was very, very easy. I just used a heavy duty lawn and leaf bag, plastic bag, that was kind of cut to the shape of the kettlebell. I filled that with a little bit of lead shot, got it sitting down in the bottom, and then filled the remainder of the bag with as much lead shot as the bag would initially hold. That ended up being about 46 pounds, like I said, which was right about perfect for me. And then I used some Gorilla Tape to tape the top of that bag off, get it tucked in really nicely down into the kettlebell. And then I actually used kind of a double baseball stitch. That's probably not the technical term for it, but just the tightest stitch that I possibly could to make sure that the top of that kettlebell was really well sealed. The other thing that I really want to emphasize with this is how important it is to just get the top of this thing securely sealed. Again, another mistake that I watched Garage Gym Reviews make. Love you guys. Link to their channel down in the description. I'm not trying to poke fun, but I did take the time to do kind of this double baseball stitch up here. That's really, really sealed the top of this kettlebell up very nicely. No extra cord. The extra cord that I do have, I actually just burned off with a lighter to make sure that it just doesn't fray and it's very, very secure. And haven't had any issues with losing any of my weight filling in this particular kettlebell. So we're going to be filling up our Origin USA burden kettlebell today. And kind of wanted to talk with you guys about what my ideas were for filling it up, and how it ended up turning out. So we're not going to do the Garage Gym Reviews. We're 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 going to do the Garage
Round 3.
Love you guys, but you made the mistake. I'm not going to repeat that. So what I am going to be using is lead shot. So this is 25 pounds. You can kind of see size-wise how that compares to my kettlebell. So I should be able to get at least 45 to 50 pounds in here pretty easily. I did really want to try and find a different alternative, right? Whether that be steel shot, Origin's suggestion, which was a fantastic suggestion, was to use pennies to fill this up. But in going to the bank, there's a coin shortage going on right now, and they would only give me 50 cents at a time. And the people I've heard from, this takes about $50 of pennies to fill up all the way, and it takes about $50 to get about 45 pounds of weight in one of these. If you guys are wondering why I'm doing this, you know, I understand that there's varying degrees of lead poisoning, there's varying degrees of, you know, how much arsenic you can come in contact with, but because this is going to be gym equipment and I'm potentially going to be using it when I'm hypoxic, don't really know what's going on, and might be sticking fingers in my eyes or my ears and not really be thinking about what I'm doing, I just want to make sure it's in there and sealed up as good as possible.
You're listening to Redneck. You're listening to Redneck.
I hope you guys enjoyed the review. I am definitely very, very happy with my Origin USA Burden Kettlebell. It is a staple in my home gym. In these times where it's very difficult to find the free weights, I am more than thankful to have this in here. It's gotten me through several workouts, and I expect it to last for years and years to come. So here's to this thing getting abused. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and more cycling content coming next week.